Well, so officially, Rachel, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
You're welcome.
This is really exciting. You are, I think, I'm going to go on a limb and say you're a bit of an outlier in the education world, given what you do. So maybe just give me a little bit of a short version of your sort of educational role right now.
Well, number one, I hate testing. And we're just testing kids to death in the United States. And I never took a test in my life that has helped me in my job.
Okay.
And fortunately, I came up through the ranks and I had administrators that saw that I was sort of a different type of math teacher. I made up my own games. I made up manipulatives. I wasn't the sage on the stage with the chuck and talk, yell and tell, chug and plug type of teachers.
Yeah.
And I had administrators who saw that there was a spark. And I remember my very, very first principal in 1958, way before you were born, honey. And
A little bit, yeah.
You were just a glint in your father's eye in 1958. And he came in to observe me my first year of teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Rachel, you're very creative. And he said, don't be afraid to try something new. But if it's not working, for heaven's sake, stop doing it. And the way we're teaching math in the United States now, we ought to stop doing it because it's stupid. It's just about, we teach to add the ones column first.
Mm-hmm.
And we use words like carry. You carry furniture.
Mm-hmm.
But when you count your money, you count your big bills first. When you look at your checking account, you never look at the pennies.
Right.
You look at the left. And everything in algebra is done from the left. So
Right.
Everything I do in arithmetic and teach kids is from the left. So fortunately, in 58, 60s, 70s, 80s, teachers were allowed to be creative.
And that's changed
now?
now?
They weren't worried about tests. And then 2000 came along and George Bush was in office and he developed a program called No Child Left Behind. I always called it Every Child Has a Behind.
Okay.
Because every kid's butt had to fit. They were called benchmarks. And I said, if your butt wasn't big enough, you had to fill it. And if it was too big, you had to slim it down. I hated that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've spent billions of dollars in the United States on reforms. And our test scores haven't gotten any better. And it's because the way we're teaching math and textbooks continue to go with it, and so do online programs, we're still adding the ones first. And
Right.
Then we had the word regroup. I hate that word. If I ever met the person who put it into mathematics, I'm not a violent woman, but I'd shoot them. So regroup is a military term. You hear sports announcers use it all the time. In fact, when the New England Patriots just lost on Sunday, one of the spin doctors said, well, Belichick needs to take them into the locker room and regroup. You hear sports announcers use regroup all the time. It's never used in higher math,
Right.
if you consider algebra higher math.
Yeah.
So yeah, I teach real life math.
So, okay, so you're in a system now, I think, that's very much, like it seems to be counter to kind of what you believe in at the core of math. So so many of us were kind of in the system and we're just kind of teaching with blinders on, I guess. This is the way it's always been. So this is the way we do things. So what kind of pushed you down this other path? Like, how did you wind up being at this place where you're just, you're coming out the gate saying, well, the way we teach math today is stupid. I mean, that's, what got you there?
It happened actually about my third year of teaching, which was in Western Pennsylvania. I was teaching a general math class.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I was teaching algebra. Now, in all algebra, you work in order of descending powers. You work from left to right. you combine the terms that have the third power, cubes, before
Mhm.
you combine the squares or those to a negative exponent.
Right.
So I was teaching that algebra. At the same time, I was teaching that in algebra class. At the same time, I was teaching a general math class where in the textbook and the curriculum, we had to add the ones first. And I said, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. And uh, I was teaching middle school at the time, or junior high school it was called.
Yeah.
I wasn't making that much money, but I sure did add my $50 before I added my pennies. And I
Fair enough.
began
Yeah.
to think about, you pick up your $10 bills before you pick up your $1 bills. So it sort of just came together.
Right.
The way we were teaching it didn't make sense. And along the lines, I remember I was teaching and the kids said, and I was teaching the general math from an algebraic point of view. And I remember the kids saying, we haven't used our textbook yet. And I said, bring it in tomorrow. And they brought their textbook in. I said, put it on your chair. Now sit on it. It's going to make you taller. And now I'm going to make you taller in mathematics. And I never have really adhered to what the textbooks do because they teach SOS, same old stuff. And I cleaned that up because I don't know you that well yet.
That's fine. You're free to use whatever words come to mind. That's fine.
SOS, same old shit, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. So did that ever land you in any trouble?
I remember once I was teaching at a school in Long Island, where you know Ben and Jerry's ice cream?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those kids. And they had given me the top 25 kids in the 10th grade. And the school was 10 through 12, 2,000 kids. So there was 700 kids in the 10th grade, and they gave me the top 25 kids. But I had to follow the book and the curriculum. And I remember we were doing trig identities, which are just so cool because they're like puzzles. They're puzzles, and they're wonderful. And in the book, you were to take a week, and the kids and I got through it in 2 days. And I remember one of the kids saying, is this all there is? And I said, oh, no. I said, there's really lots of cool stuff with trig identities, and you mess around with them. And we had to turn in a plan book. I hated Sunday nights because we had to turn in the plan book Monday morning, lay it on the table in the faculty room. And I drank a lot on Sunday nights. So
Okay.
I was friends with the 4 J's, Jack, Jim, Johnny, and Jose. And Jägermeister would slip in there every once in a while.
Oh, that must have been a rough Sunday on the Jägermeister
So,
days.
Anyhow, I had put in my plan book that we were going to investigate trig identities, and we were going to go further. And the department head, he's probably in math hell right now, but anyhow, he wrote in the plan book, this is not in the curriculum, don't do it. Well, what do? You do what's best for kids in the long run. And that's always been in my head. What's best for the kid in the long run? Not what's best for the administration, not what's best for the parent, not what's best for the school board. You do what's best for the kid. And that's always been how I have felt about it. So what's best for the kid mathematically? These were the top kids in the 10th grade. So anyhow, I took the kids and in fact, I had put them in groups of 2 and I had given each one of them an identity to prove, and then they were to teach it to the class. And which was heresy at the time.
Right.
So anyhow, lo and behold, the kids were doing this, and guess who walked in to observe me?
Mm-hmm.
The department head. And I continued. I let the kids do what they were assigned to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the class was over, and he said, I want to see you during your planning period. So I went in, and he said, you wrote in your plan book you were going to do the trig identities, and I told you not to do it. And he said, I came in and you were doing it. And I said, Bob, tell me, why can't I do it? He said, and these were his exact words, you're stealing the thunder from the 11th grade teacher. And I said, Bob, math doesn't stop.
Math doesn't come in grade levels.
Yeah. Kids don't have an expiration date stamped on their head.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I caught hell a lot. But then when test time came around, my kids did extremely well. I remember once, same department head said, Rachel, you're on page 58 and the rest of the teachers are on page 109. And I wrote back, many teachers finish the book way before the kids do.
Oh, this is great. This is great. I mean, have you always wanted to be a teacher? Was this kind of your vocation from the start?
No.
Oh.
No. Now I'm 83 years old. I'll be 84 in 2 months.
Yeah.
Where I was born and raised, a woman had 5 choices. You could be a secretary, but my typing really sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And you could, and I can't sit still.
Yeah.
You could be a nurse, but I couldn't see emptying bedpans.
Right.
You could get married, but I didn't like the model.
Okay.
You could be a nun, but I was Catholic and I didn't want to be married to someone you didn't know. Or you could be a teacher. So I eliminated the other 4. Mm-hmm. And I had teachers. I had teachers who had seen a spark in me. I was the first one in my high school graduating class in 4 years to go on to college, the first one in 6 years to graduate from college.
Wow.
So I came from a farming community where education was for the upper class. But I had teachers, a couple of teachers who really helped and saw that I should go to school or go beyond. And that was really wonderful. And I look back on them and I'm sure they're in teaching heaven, I hope.
Unlike some of those other math teachers.
Yes. Well, they weren't math teachers. One was a social studies teacher. One was a phys ed teacher.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what was it about them?
Then there was, a math teacher, Mr. Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what was it about them that really inspired you then?
They did. So that's why I went to teach. I knew I had to get out. Just out. I didn't want to be in the culture in which I was raised because I was an avid reader. Mm-hmm. And I have stories about that. An avid reader, and I guess that's one of the reasons I work so hard with kids from diverse backgrounds and everything, because the only way you get out is through education. And there's 3 ways to power. One is through money, but you can lose it. One is through violence, but there can be a coup.
Yeah.
And one can be education, but no one can take my education away from me or you.
Right.
And so I don't know if I've always felt that way, but as I have gotten older and maybe wiser, people might.
I'm feeling
sure
some wiseness coming off you.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, education's important to me, and especially math education.
Wow. I mean, you've been doing this for how long? 50 years, you said?
I started teaching in 1958, so I've been
that makes
teaching
it
math to people of all ages for 61 years.
61 years. Wow. Now, okay, so I mean, I have to ask because I mean, you are well past the usual age for retirement. What's keeping you in the profession? I mean,
Kids,
I think I could answer this if I had to guess, but I want to hear what you have to say.
kids.
That's it.
I love kids, and I model teach.
Hmm.
Uh, when a school invites me to come, well, teachers are very skeptical of anybody new that they don't know. And they always say, well, this isn't how I did it when I went to school. And I say, let me see your phone. Why don't you go back to the phone you were using when you went to school? And we used to have things called MAPS. And they were on paper and they were folded up and all sorts of things.
Oh yeah.
They said, now we have stuff called GPS. But when I go into a school, I model teach. I go into the classroom and I teach kids.
Yeah.
So teachers know I know what the hell I'm doing. And I have excellent classroom management skills. And I know my math. And I know my manipulatives. And I know how to get kids involved with mathematics. So they see me teach, and then I work with the teachers by themselves. Once they see what I do, then I take them further on in the lesson. But I love working with kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we've got some an extra camera running here right now. So I mean, why don't we dive into that for a minute here? You say you're really good with like getting kids into math. So can you give me like a quick demo of like how do you get kids into things?
Well, hang on, someplace. Oh God, here we go. Well, of course, you don't have you don't have the same money in Canada that we.
No, we have our colorful play money.
Here, I'll show you. Let's just take geometry. Most of the time, our geometry is done with paper and pencil. But I do modular origami. That's this.
Yeah.
Here's a cube. We use 3 colors. Can you see the yellow equator?
Ah, okay, yeah.
The red equator.
Mm-hmm.
And the gray equator.
Okay.
So you use 3 colors because the cube has 3 dimensions.
Right.
So there's 6 pieces of paper here. There's no glue in this. And here we go. Let me use this yellow. And it's transformational geometry. This is just a single square of paper.
Right. Okay.
I start out with the square. We talk about the attributes of a square.
Mm-hmm.
We then fold it into half to get a rectangle. We open it up.
Yeah.
There's another rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
We'd fold left edge up to the top, a trapezoid, rotate it 180 degrees. There's probably about 30 vocabulary words going up that we talk about.
Right.
Now we have a parallelogram.
Mm-hmm. So you're baking in a whole bunch of other stuff into this while you're just teaching them about a cube.
Yeah. We tuck this. We tuck this. This is sort of cool. Kids love this.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of grade level would you be doing this at?
I've done this with first grade.
Okay.
And now here's a square. Now the cool thing is that, and I do this with teachers, in fact, with Zoom,
mm-hmm.
next Monday, I'm teaching a class in Lafayette, Louisiana with this. The teacher will have Zoom on her
Yeah.
computer and then put it on the smart board, and the kids will see me. Now, the cool thing is, this square that I ended up with
Yeah.
is 1/8 of the original square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right. 5 and a
Here's
half.
6, 5 and
Yeah.
a half,
Yeah.
6,
Yeah.
and then this little one right
Right.
here.
Right. Okay, I see that.
So, and then we put them together.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all sorts of other stuff. This one's called the Japanese brocade. Well, I'm also teaching kids how to follow directions.
Right.
So here's a cube.
Cool. Okay.
Then we pop it.
So the kids would just love that.
Oh, they're crazy about it.
Yeah.
And then here's a stellated octahedron. This is made with 12 sheets of paper.
Holy smokes.
And then there's some people may call this a soccer ball,
Uh-huh.
but it's really called a truncated icosahedron. And this is made with about 180 triangles.
Holy smokes.
So I do this sort of stuff. It's all around the room. And that cube, oh, I think I have a little one here someplace. Oh, God. It's all over the place.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I do that with geometry with kids, but then I'm trying to see where the heck. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, no problem. Just so you know, Rachel, we've got about 10 minutes before we've got to call our quits
Well.
today. Just so you know.
Oh, here it is. Here, I found it. With younger kids,
Mhm.
kids love money. So they have, here's a bunch of $1 bills. This is American money,
Yeah.
of course. $10 bills and $100 bills.
Right on. Okay.
And I say, take out $37. So 10, 20, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if we look at 37, here's, oops. Here's 37.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like this with money. 30 plus 7.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to take out $25. And this is your tens column. Here's your one. So 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 25. And people call this a 2. It's the digit 2, but it's the number 20.
Right.
So it looks this way, 20 plus 5.
Right.
And now I'm going to take out $15, and I'm going to add all these. Here's
Okay.
10, and here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's 10 plus 5.
Right.
Here we go. This is sort of over there. Now, if you go to pick up the money, when I say pick up this money and count it, and I say to kids, what are you going to pick up first? They always say the tens. Nobody picks up the ones first. So we count it. We have 60.
Uh-huh.
And then here's what books teach you to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They want you to take these 10 ones and trade it in for 1 10.
Okay.
Now that's so stupid, because every time I get 10 $1 bills, which I carry around a lot because I travel and I tip, I don't say, oh my goodness, I can't spend this until I regroup it into 1 10. You
Right.
see? So now, see this 5 and 5? That's another 10, and here's 7. So now my answer is 70 plus 7.
Right.
Now here's how kids are taught. 37, 25, 15. 5 and 5 10, 7, 17. Put down the 7, carry the 1. I do this with kids. You know what they say to me? You made the 1 too big.
Right, okay.
Kids do not know that when they've written this, they've written 17. They don't know it.
Oh, I see.
We say put down the 7, carry the 1. Now, I say to teachers, this is the 10s column, here's the 1s. Write 17 underneath here.
Okay.
The kid is saying 17. And where'd I get that? I got it from the 1s column.
Okay.
Now, we teach kids to count by 10s, but we never let them use it. 20, 50, 60. Here's 60. This is my 10s column. Now, this is 77. These are called partial sums.
Ah, okay.
Here's your final sum.
Right.
Putting down a 7, carry the 1, and then saying 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, is incorrect. Because this isn't the number 1. It's the number 10. It's the digit 1.
Ah, okay, I'm following now. I'm getting this.
Okay. Now watch how you can do this in your head. What's the name of this number?
Is 30.
Now what's this one?
20.
Add it.
So 50.
Add this.
60.
Now add that.
77.
Now, watch. You can start anywhere. Oh. Well, we teach kids this in the grades. 4 plus 2 equals 2 plus 4. We teach them that property.
Yep.
And then we don't let them start anywhere. So watch. Start here. What do you get?
Yeah, okay, you get 10, yeah.
And now this.
20.
Now this.
40.
Now that.
70.
And that.
77. Okay, yeah.
Hey, start here.
Right, 37.
Now, see, you don't know where I'm going next.
No, I don't.
37.
I'm nervous
Now
I'm going to
go
make
here.
a mistake.
Now go here. It's okay.
Okay, 47.
Now that.
67.
And now that.
77.
See, you can start anywhere.
Ah.
Addition is just advanced counting.
And you know what, Rachel? Like, it's funny because I'm 40 years old. I know how to do math and addition and stuff. But as you're doing this, I'm actually starting to feel more comfortable. Like I didn't even know I could feel more comfortable just adding numbers.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Oh, now, hang on. Watch. Well, that in algebra. In algebra, if I put n in for 10, this is really 3 times 10. So if I put n in for 10, this becomes 3n plus 7 plus 2n plus 5 plus 1n plus 5. And in algebra, we make kids add this first. You get 6n plus 17.
Right.
See, and what happened when I told you 100 years ago, I was teaching this to algebra kids. And in the general math class, I was telling them to add the ones first.
Right. I see. Okay. I get what you're saying.
And yet here, and this is really end of the first, this is end of the second. So you in algebra, you add in that direction, and we're teaching kids in arithmetic to add in that direction.
Right.
That's because,
Sounds like a don't get me started.
that's right. Don't get me started.
Well, Rachel, we're kind of coming up on the end of things here, but I want to ask you just one more thing, because what is it about math that you seem like you just love this stuff. What is it that fuels that love for you?
Well, it's elegant in its simplicity.
Okay.
If it snowed here slightly. I'm in Connecticut today.
Mm-hmm.
And the snow stuck on the trees.
Mm-hmm.
It was just beautiful. It was so simple, but it was elegant in its simplicity. Math is, once you start to call numbers by their correct place value names, it's very, very easy. And once you get the concept, you got it. You've got it now. Mm-hmm. And see, what happens is we teach procedures. And that's the assembly line method of education. We teach procedures without understanding. I teach concepts. Once you understand it, it just falls into place.
Brilliant.
It's
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. It's beautiful. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can tell, Rich. I mean, I'm not off on video, but like I'm grinning like an idiot here. Just this has been like really fun. Just learning how to add again. Thank you.
We should do this again. I'll teach you subtraction.
Rachel, you are a deep, deep well, I can tell, and I wish we had another hour or two just to sit here and chat for sure. And,
Hey,
and
how
sure,
do you find out about me?
I asked on Twitter, and I just asked my followers, who is the best keynote you've ever heard?
Oh,
And your name came up. So
yeah,
that's
play.
so I looked you up that way, and here we are.
Yeah.
And actually, if other people want to look you up, where's the best place to find all your information?
If they go to www.
Mm-hmm.
Zoid, short for trapezoid,
Okay.
and company. .com.
Awesome. And that's
Zoid and
everything.
Company. No one else would ever think of using Zoid. So
No, that's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I'm looking at the website now, and there's a picture of you all surrounded by origami. So
yeah, that's how I look when I clean up. Here you caught me at home.
that's all good. It's all good. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for your time today. This has been an absolute blast.
Thank you. And if you want to do it again, Shane, I'd be happy to do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you. I will. I'll definitely be in touch again. I'd love to chat some more.
Thanks a lot, honey.